parents just exploded. Not kidding. They literally burst open, violently shooting their reproductive cells into the open water. That's how you were conceived, in a cloud of ocean sperm and eggs from parents who will never know you exist. Welcome to life as a sea urchin, where even your origin story is a disaster movie. You start existence as a single cell, floating in the vast ocean, completely at the mercy of currents, predators, and pure dumb luck. No protection, no parental guidance, no survival instincts, just you and millions of your siblings playing the most brutal lottery in nature, where 99.9% of you will die before reaching adulthood. Now you're a larva with no brain, no eyes, and a body so transparent you might as well be invisible. Your weird alien spaceship shape comes complete with arm-like extensions that wave around, pathetically trying to catch floating food particles. Your first meal, whatever microscopic junk happens to stick to you as you drift. Gourmet. The ocean is massive and you're smaller than a grain of sand. Predators are everywhere and they don't even need to hunt you. They just accidentally swallow you while breathing. Imagine being so insignificant that you're literally plankton breath. Every second, thousands of your siblings are being eaten, and not even on purpose. They're just collateral damage in someone else's lunch. But surviving isn't just luck, it's chaos. You dodge jellyfish tentacles that sting anything nearby. Their pulsing bells loom like deadly UFOs, snaring your siblings in gooey traps. You drift past, heart pounding, a speck in their shadow. Water currents toss you around like you're on the world's worst roller coaster. You have zero control over your destiny. If the current decides to smash you against a rock or carry you into freezing waters or even flush you onto dry land, well, that's just how your story ends. No dramatic final scene, no heroic last stand, just a tiny speck drying up on some random beach. But wait, against all odds, you've survived the larval lottery. After floating around for weeks, your body starts to change. You begin growing little calcium plates that will eventually form your adult shell. Your shape transforms from weird alien spacecraft to round pincushion. Your transparent body develops pigment, usually purple, red, or green. Congratulations on your glow up. Now you sink to the bottom of the ocean, leaving your free floating days behind. You touch down on the seafloor, and this patch of sand or rock is where you'll spend the rest of your life. Hope you like the view, because you're never moving more than a few feet from this spot. Your body is now covered in hundreds of spines. They stick out in all directions like you're perpetually having the worst hair day imaginable. Between these spines, you grow tiny tube feet with suction cups at the ends. These are your new legs, mouth, and hands all rolled into one. You use them to slowly, and I mean slowly, drag yourself across the ocean floor at the blazing speed of a few inches per hour. Usain Bolt, eat your heart out. Looking for food? You've got a bizarre five-toothed mouth on your underside that scrapes algae off rocks. Your teeth are self-sharpening and constantly growing, which sounds cool until you realize you're using them to lick rocks all day. Your diet consists of whatever happens to be growing on the seafloor, mostly algae, but sometimes decaying plant or animal matter. You're basically the ocean's vacuum cleaner, except you can't even decide which room to clean. You might be thinking, at least I'm safe with all these spines, right? Wrong. Your spines are your only defense, and they're not particularly effective against your main predators. Sea otters simply flip you over and munch on your soft underside. Triggerfish have specialized mouths that can crunch right through your shell. And don't even get me started on sea stars. They just hug you to death, turning their stomachs inside out to digest you while you're still alive. It's like being trapped in the world's most horrifying embrace. Some of your distant cousins, like the fire urchin, have venomous spines that can cause serious pain to predators. But your spines are just pointy. They break off in predators' mouths, which might give them a bad day, but doesn't exactly save your life. It's like trying to fight off a shark by throwing toothpicks at it. There's also your bizarre breathing system. You have 5 pairs of gill-like structures, but they're pretty inefficient. You mostly absorb oxygen through your tube feet and skin. So not only are you using your feet as hands and a mouth, but they're also your lungs. Talk about multitasking. Let's talk about your social life. There isn't one. You don't form schools or colonies like fish or coral. You don't have friends. You don't even recognize other sea urchins as your own kind. If you bump into another urchin, you might just climb over them like they're a weird spiny rock. The concept of family is completely foreign to you. Remember those millions of siblings you were released into the ocean with? You'll never know if you meet them again, and you wouldn't care if you did. When breeding season arrives, you don't even mate in the traditional sense. If you're a female, you release eggs into the water. If you're a male, you release sperm, and then you just hope for the best. There's no careful selection of a partner with the right genetic qualities or impressive spine length. No romantic courtship displays, just everyone releasing their reproductive cells into the ocean at roughly the same time, creating a cloud of potential in the water column. It's like a reproductive flash mob where nobody knows who's participating. The only way you know when to release your eggs or sperm is by sensing when everyone else is doing it. It's basically peer pressure reproduction. Oh, all the cool urchins are releasing gametes today. Guess I'll join in. Your sense of timing had better be good, because if you release your reproductive cells a day late, you've missed the party. Your genetic contribution will drift away, unfertilized and alone, just like that time you showed up to the club after it closed. Some days, you just sit there, with algae growing on your spines. You become a living garden with small creatures making homes between your spikes. Fish might use you as a scratching post. Crabs could decide to use you as shelter. You're essentially living furniture for the ocean. The ocean current that once carried you as a larva now brings trash your way. Plastic bags drift by, and sometimes you end up covered in microplastics. Human fishing nets might snag you and drag you away from your home. Or worse, humans might collect you for food or to make those fancy sea urchin decorations they put on their shelves. Let's not forget about ocean acidification. As humans pump more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, the ocean absorbs it and becomes more acidic. This makes it harder for you to build your calcium carbonate shell and spines. It's like trying to build a house while someone is constantly stealing your bricks. If you somehow avoid being eaten, collected, or dissolved by changing ocean chemistry, you might live to the ripe old age of 15 to 20 years. 2 decades of scraping algae off rocks, avoiding predators, and participating in underwater reproductive flash mobs. What a life! You don't even get the courtesy of a peaceful death. When you die, your spines fall off, your body decays, and your shell breaks apart. What remains gets scattered across the seafloor or washed up on a beach, where it might be collected by a beachcomber who thinks your skeleton looks neat. And the most ridiculous part, after all this, the floating helplessly, the rock licking, the spine growing, the communal spawning. Your species has been around for over 450 million years. You've survived multiple mass extinctions. You've outlasted the dinosaurs. Your ridiculous design and bizarre lifestyle have proven surprisingly effective in the grand scheme of things. Oh, and let's not forget about your bizarre cousins, sand dollars. They're basically you, but flattened like a pancake. They decided spines were too mainstream and opted for tiny velvet-like ones instead. They even have tiny feet they use to bury themselves in sand. Imagine being the evolutionary equivalent of the friend who can't handle normal life, so they hide under blankets all day. There's also your toxic relatives who store concentrated vanadium in their bodies. Nobody knows why. It's like your uncle who collects bizarre things in his garage. Puzzling to everyone, but apparently essential to his existence. So the next time you feel like your life is hard, just remember, at least you're not a brainless, eyeless pincushion spending your days licking rocks on the ocean floor, waiting for a sea star to give you a deadly hug, or for all your friends to simultaneously decide it's time to release their reproductive cells into the great blue void.